Welcome dear children. Hope you all are doing good and safe. In this video, we are going to do the summary of chapter 9, Reproduction in Animals. Children, last year you have learned about reproduction in plants. What is reproduction? It is a process by which organisms give or produces their younger ones. It is very important to all organisms because it helps to maintain the continuity of species. So when you studied about reproduction in plants, you learned about the two modes by which plants reproduce. That is sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Like in plants, animals also reproduce sexually and asexually. So in this chapter, you have learned about reproduction in human beings. We have discussed about the different reproductive organs, both male and female. We have also learned about fertilization and viviparous and oviparous animals. We have learned also about the concept of metamorphosis and asexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, we have seen the two ways or two modes of asexual reproduction, that is binary fission and budding. So children, we will see the mind map of the chapter in detail. Children, let us see the mind map of chapter 9, Reproduction in Animals, in detail. In the first section of the chapter, we have defined the term reproduction. As I told during the introduction, it is a process by which organisms produces their younger ones. So what is the importance of reproduction? It helps to maintain the continuity of a species. Next, we have defined or we have seen what do you mean by sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction, it is a type of reproduction in which both a male and female are involved. When we say a male and female, they will produce special types of cells called reproductive cells or gametes. So, during their sexual reproduction, these reproductive cells, they will fuse to form a zygote. We have seen the concept of fertilization. So, the male reproductive cell, it is called a male gamete, or we will call them sperm or spermatozoa. And the female reproductive cell, we will call it a female gamete or egg. It is also called ovum. Now we will see how reproduction takes place in human beings. So, in the first part of the topic, we have seen in detail the different reproductive organs or the different parts of reproductive organ of a male and female. So, the male reproductive organ, we have seen it consists of a pair of testes where the sperm is produced. The sperm, it will travel or it is carried to the penis or to the urethra by the sperm duct. So, the sperm, it is getting released or get released from the lowermost part of the male reproductive organ, that is penis. And next we have seen the female reproductive organs and the different parts of it. So, a female reproductive organ, it consists of a pair of ovaries which is located in the lower abdominal area. Ovaries are responsible for producing the female reproductive cells or eggs or ovum. Once this ovaries release the egg, it is carried to the oviduct or the fallopian tube. So, and we have seen that other parts of female reproductive organ, that is the uterus, where the development of a baby happens, and the lowermost part of the female reproductive organ, that is vagina. So, next we will see the concept of fertilization. Fertilization is a process by which a male gamete or a sperm fuses with egg to produce a single cell structure called zygote. Both the male and female gamete, they carry half set of chromosomes. So when they combine together, the nucleus, it will be having 46 chromosomes or 23 pair of chromosomes. So thus, the first cell of a life in human beings is formed, we call them zygote. This fertilization, it happens inside a female reproductive organ, exactly inside the fallopian tube or the oviduct. So when we discussed about fertilization, we have discussed fertilization is of two types, internal and external. Internal fertilization, as we discussed, it happens inside the female body, whereas external fertilization, it happens outside the female body. For example, in the case of fishes or frogs, they lay the eggs or sperm outside the body, and the fertilization, it happens outside. Next is the development of embryo. So once this fertilization is happened, this fertilized zygote or the first cell, it starts dividing and it forms a ball of cells. We call it blastocyst or morula. We have seen the different stages of development of embryo. On reaching its blastocyst stage, embryo, it moves to the uterus and get embedded itself in the walls of the uterus, where the further development happens to the embryo. So this developing structure after a zygote, it is called a embryo, and once this embryo is fully developed, or the stage reaches when we can differentiate the different organs or all the organs, that stage is called a fetus. So fetus is almost a completely developed, is an embryo where which you can differentiate all the organs. So next we have seen the concept of viviparous and oviparous animals. So what do you mean by viviparous? Organisms which give birth to their younger ones, they are called viviparous animals, whereas oviparous animals are the organisms which produces their younger ones by laying eggs. And after that we have seen asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction, it happens with the presence of a single parent, or there is no process of fertilization needed. In the case of asexual reproduction, we have mainly seen the two modes of asexual reproduction, that is budding and binary fission. Budding, it is a mode of asexual reproduction in Hydra or in yeast, whereas binary fission, like amoeba is an example for that. So these are the different modes of asexual reproduction. Now we have seen the concept of metamorphosis also. It is a process by which a young one transforms into an adult. So if you have noticed, the young one of a tadpole, like a young one of a frog or a young one of a silkworm, it won't be similar to their adult. So it takes a drastic change, or the young one need to undergo drastic change to reach or transform into an adult. This process which they undergo in order to get transformed into an adult, it is called metamorphosis. And the last topic we have seen in the chapter is cloning. So cloning is a process by which an exact copy or exact replica of a cell or a tissue or an organ or even organism is made. We have seen the first cloned sheep, that is Dolly. So children, that is a mind map all about. Dear children, hope this video helped you to get the summary of chapter 9, Reproduction in Animals. We'll see you all during interactive sessions. Thank you for watching.